backups to the East Beltway. Look at that bumper-to-bumper traffic. It's literally stopped.
Welcome to life on Houston's highways. Home to the scariest freeways in America. They call 45 a death trap.
It is scary knowing that it's the deadliest expressway in the country. Yeah, that's scary.
Good evening, friends. I'm Dave Ward. This is Eyewitness News. 4 people killed, well over 100 were injured today and admitted to area hospitals following a spectacular accident and explosion near the Galleria.
78 people went to the hospital in Houston's most dangerous crash 45 years ago. An ammonia truck.
It exploded and crashed onto the freeway below.
But the carnage happens almost daily. Trucks in the energy capital of the world overturning on the highway. And these costly cleanups can bring traffic to a dead stop for hours.
TxDOT wants the roads open, clean, fast, and safe. That's the main goal objective.
That's the way it's supposed to work. The Texas Department of Transportation making sure the mess gets cleaned up. Someone's insurance company pays so that Texas taxpayers don't get stuck with the bill, as they often do. Watch as a truck owned by a Scorsia Corporation in San Antonio slams on the brakes and loses a load of quartz countertops on Interstate 10. The incident shut down the freeway for hours. The driver of the Scorsia truck is allowed to choose who does the cleanup, but the company was told they didn't have a choice. A private TxDOT hazardous materials contractor was already cleaning up the mess. That wasn't true. It wasn't the only lie the owner got told.
This other company to come who didn't have any equipment, they were trying to work out of their beat up truck from what I heard.
I had already activated. Once they be activated, they being paid.
So who's your supervisor?
John Williams.
Who?
John Williams.
John Williams?
TxDOT had given the job to a company called HMI, one of the contractors that calls in to clear up hazardous material spills on the freeway when the truck owner doesn't have his own cleanup company to choose. But you can clearly see there isn't one bit of anything hazardous about some broken countertops. It's just a mess. How are you? Hey, Travis. Don't touch him, man. You remember HMI, because we've been thrown out of their Conroe headquarters before. Travis.
Out.
We're getting out, honey. Just give me
Do you want to call the police and have them escorted out of my office?
Call him. Call him. Call him.
Go ahead.
Call him. The owners of HMI are some longtime lawmen. Reserve Montgomery County Constable Dustin Rutherford and controversial former constable in Montgomery County, Travis Bishop. Other cleanup companies have complained their cop connections unfairly influence the lucrative freeway cleanup business. Hey, don't touch the equipment.
You need to get out of here.
Well, we're leaving.
You need to get out of here.
It's the first time someone asked me to leave, and we'd be more than happy to leave.
Well, we're asking you to leave.
As I said, Travis.
You got something to file on us, man, go file it.
What is it we're doing that's illegal?
Well, you're interfering with the police investigation.
Weldon Buford works for SCT Environmental, and you can see him in the video as TxDOT gets police to threaten to arrest him if his folks don't leave the scene.
Is they're probably fixing to call a district attorney, and they're going to run this bomb. And man, if they accept it, you don't want that.
This is TxDOT's lane. I understand.
Definitely makes it seem like something's fishy in the air.
The result is a cleanup we can prove was a ripoff of a Scorsia and an unnecessary closure of much of the freeway for up to 5 hours. SCT had told us Scorsia's owner the cleanup should have taken about 2 hours, cost about $5,000. But wait till you see the bill a Scorsia later got from HMI after the cleanup. Nearly $30,000.
No. Yeah, that's outrageous.
There were charges for hazardous protective equipment that wasn't needed, charges to decontaminate the equipment after. But why?
For some countertops?
Yeah. The biggest charge on the bill are for what they call TMAs. These big trucks on trailers used to block the freeway for the safety of the work. HMI charges $2,400 for each one. so they make more money the more lanes they shut down. Take the Escorcia countertops, push the debris to the emergency lane, and you could start opening up lanes much more quickly. Weldon is on the road enough to get caught up in a lot of Houston's freeway shutdowns.
I can't stand it when I drive by and see something, where like 2 extra lanes closed off. I'm like, who's running this thing? I just want to go get a little common sense.
But there's something else about the HMI invoice that caught our attention. There's no sales tax, and by law, there's gotta be. And that's triggered a widening criminal investigation by the Texas Comptroller into possible tax fraud by HMI. The company is already under investigation for possible motor vehicle fraud after Dolcefino Consulting investigators got receipts showing the company misrepresented the cost of their equipment by hundreds of thousands of dollars. It shows the total sales price was $740,000, more than $500,000 more than what was reported.
We have been contacted by a state agency, yes.
Glendora police are cooperating with the investigation. The city had rejected official applications from 4 companies for spots in the city's tow rotation tied to Travis Bishop. The applications appear to contain false information, and that's a crime too. Possible tampering with the government record.
State has never had a problem with me. You may have a problem with me.
Mr. Bishop may not know it, but TxDOT has now started its own investigation after seeing this, a sworn affidavit obtained by our investigators from a former HMI administrator. It details possible fraud, allegations of falsified invoices. The HMI whistleblower says she was directed to falsify the answers on state-required exams, tests to prove HMI workers were properly trained to even handle hazmat spills. TxDOT is supposed to review those tests, but they usually don't. Quoting, Travis Bishop instructed me to falsify billing, she swore. Dustin Rutherford instructed me to sign other people's signatures on disposal documents. It's not just insurance companies that may be being victimized by TxDOT's lack of enforcement, but if insurance companies are getting ripped off, TxDOT shares some of the blame. When no one accepts responsibility for these accidents, the cleanup bill goes to you. We asked TxDOT a pretty simple question. What do hazmat cleanups across Texas cost us? And they can't tell us. You gotta love government. It's clear from reviewing HMI invoices that the TxDOT folks appear to be sitting in their trucks more than watchdogging the cleanup. No one verifies the number of employees, the need for so many expensive vehicles. A TxDOT insider told us they don't even check to make sure the hazardous materials are properly disposed. Disposal records are missing from many of the TxDOT invoices we looked at. TxDOT could tell us that taxpayers were billed $280,000 just in the Houston area in just 5 months just by HMI. They're one of 2 contractors in Houston with TxDOT contracts to handle the spills when truck drivers don't choose a cleanup crew. The contracts make no sense, and we've told TxDOT that. You know those big TMAs? TxDOT pays HMI $2,400 a day for each of them when they're used during a cleanup. 4 lanes, 4 TMAs. The other contractor is Masters, and they charge just $500 for the same piece of equipment. The TxDOT officials who approve paying different prices for the very same piece of equipment, well, I got a feeling they went to the Pentagon School of Contracting, the home of $600 hammers and $1,000 toilet seats. TxDOT has the authority to ban HMI from further state contracts, but Montgomery County is silent about the company's link to Bishop on his home turf, even though HMI is under investigation for defrauding Montgomery County on those state motor vehicle taxes. A sworn affidavit alleges the company has been operating an illegal dumping ground on property in Splendora, but no one seems to have bothered to even look yet. Maybe you got caught in this traffic shutdown on 610. Around lunchtime, July 26th, a car had run up under the back of a truck owned by Verdi Transport. Photos taken right after the wreck, you can see a little antifreeze, a few gallons. But that stuff dries, it's biodegradable.
Even though I think it was just 1 gallon, we put it back in the truck, the gallon back, and then everything is all right.
And the only rubber pipe the trucking company says was leaking at all was far away from the small impact to the truck. Hazmat cleanup companies that showed up left. But suddenly, HMI was called in by somebody, shut down the entire freeway, 4 of those expensive TMAs.
Did you guys choose them to do this cleanup? Because I'm told they...
The owner says he was directed to give his insurance to HMI by Houston police. But who authorized the cleanup? Because they can't. The need to shut down the highway. We're still trying to find out.
When I got there, the fire department already put the sand on the antifreeze.
Verdi will get stuck with the big bill. But hundreds of Houstonians were stuck in a traffic jam for hours. And somebody better explain what's going on here.
It's just not treated fair. Just make it more fair.